Good morning, Roberta. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. So Roberta had to have some work done on my iPad, so it took me a while to get logged back in. So sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I'm so happy it's not just me. Just don't call me Mr. Techie. Oh my God, yeah. The worst was doing a PowerPoint presentation for the outgoing county administrator and the incoming county administrator. I was the IT director, and nobody knew why the PowerPoint wasn't working. Turned to me, and all I could do is look for what's not plugged in. Yikes. All right. So Jennifer, do we have everyone, I think?
Yes, Chair Galvin, we are ready to proceed when you are.
All right, then we'll call the meeting of the Contract Review Subcommittee to order and ask Secretary Atha to do a roll call, please.
Chair Galvin.
Here.
Board Member Badenford. Board Member Walsh.
Here. All right, then item number 2 on the agenda is public comments. So we'll now take public comments on item 2. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Secretary Atha, do we have anyone? That would have been a shock. All right, we'll move to item 3.1. Director Burke.
Thank you, Chair Galvin and members of the subcommittee. We are very excited to be presenting item 3.1 to you, which is a contract award for the Laguna Treatment Plant disinfection improvements. And Jason Roberts, supervising engineer with our capital projects team, will be making the presentation.
Good morning, Mr. Roberts.
Good morning, Chair Galvin and Board Member Walsh. Thank you, Director Burke, for the introduction. Let me get my presentation going here. Looks like, Roberta, can you enable screen sharing for me?
Looks like we have committee member Badenfort with us from Sweden. Is that where you're at? Somewhere over there.
Copenhagen, but
Copenhagen.
my VPN got me in saying I'm from San Francisco, so we're here. Thanks.
Thanks so much for making the effort to be with
Of
us.
course, thank you. Sorry for the interruption. Appreciate it.
No interruption at all.
All right, I'll go ahead and get started here. All right, can everybody see the presentation okay? All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you again, Director Burke, for the introduction. And thank you, Chair Galvin, and members of the subcommittee. I'm Jason Roberts, supervising engineer for capital projects engineering. And today I have a short presentation for you where I'll be presenting details on the construction contract for C00284, Laguna Treatment Plant Disinfection Improvements Project, and ultimately seeking a recommendation by the subcommittee to the full Board of Public Utilities for construction contract award. Presentation outline, I'll go over the project purpose. I'll discuss the timeline since fall of 2021. I'll discuss the issuance for bid and bid period details. Then we'll review the bids we received and the identification of the low bidder. I'll go over impacts and schedule, and then ultimately bring a recommendation forward. So project purpose, the UV system at the Laguna Treatment Plant is aged, it's beyond its useful life. And in 2012, the capacity was derated by DDW. In essence, the permitted capacity of the system no longer meets the needs of the treatment plant. This project will provide a new ultraviolet disinfection system capable of treating up to 67 million gallons per day. It will also replace the aged hypochlorite facility. A new effluent diversion facility will be installed, which will return off-spec water to the flow equalization basin at the start of the treatment process. And a new stormwater pump station will also be constructed to accommodate the future Laguna Treatment Plant flood wall project. In addition, a new trailer will be provided for LTP staff. So since fall of 2021, I'll go over a brief timeline, basically focusing on the UV procurement process. And in September, we received a best and final price from Denora, formerly Calgon Carbon. Between September and December, city staff negotiated with Denora to come up with a best and final price, which included price increases from basically increased prices of steel, totaling about $288,000. On December 1st, we received a best and final offer letter from Denora for a total system price of $5,923,000. That price is good until December 31st of this year. And as you may remember, on December 16th, BPU approved a second amended and restated memorandum of understanding with Denora, securing that purchase price. This action by BPU allowed the design to be finalized and bid documents prepared. So on January 28th, 2022, invitation for bids was issued. with a bid open date of March 29th. So the bid period was about 2 months. The invitation for bids was issued with an engineer's estimate of $50 to $60 million. Providing a range is becoming more typical these days because of just uncertainty in the markets and materials, and with longer duration projects, there's some uncertainty on the contractor side as well. So we thought that providing a range was useful. There were 2 mandatory pre-bid meetings where the prime contractors had to attend at least one of those. Through the course of the bid period, 5 contract addenda were issued, providing clarifications to contractors. And I did want to point out that this contract is atypical. Our typical water contracts are based on Caltrans specifications, which are well suited for linear construction projects such as roads and pipelines. And I wanted to highlight that this contract was developed using a master format, which is better suited for vertical type projects and more complex process oriented projects such as this. Our consultant attorney and the city attorney's office has been involved with the development and review of the contract language throughout the process and throughout the project. So on March 29th, we received 4 bids outlined here. As you can see, Shimmick was the low bidder at $68 million. After the bid opening, the design and construction management team went to work verifying that Shimmick was responsive and responsible per the requirements of the contract. And on April 13th, we issued a notice of intent to award. Impacts and schedule. So fiscal impact funding was appropriated for this project in the fiscal year 2021-2022 CIP budget, and additional mid-year appropriations by City Council allowed for full funding of this project. Environmental impacts. The proposed improvements are covered under the amended Incremental Recycled Water Program, EIR, approved by this board on November 19th of 2020. And as far as schedule, today I'm here before you seeking a recommendation to the full board, which is scheduled for May 5th. We expect to issue a notice to proceed later in May of 2022. And the anticipated project completion is January of 2025. So it's about 1,100 day construction project. So with that, it is recommended by the Transportation and Public Works Department and the Water Department that the Contract Review Subcommittee recommend to the full Board of Public Utilities award of construction contract C00284, Laguna Treatment Plant Disinfection Improvements Project, to the lowest responsive bidder, Shimmick Construction Company, in the amount of $68,109,000. Approve a 10% contingency and authorize a total contract amount of $74,919,900. And with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. This has been a long time coming, so we're very happy to see this thing going forward.
As am I, Jerry Galvin.
Yeah, it's kind of an undaunting task to realize that it's going to take 2 or 3 years to actually finish this project after all the years we've been in development and you know, just everything else that's gone with it. So very excited to see this, happy to support the recommendation to the full board, and I'll be happy to open it up for any board member or subcommittee member questions or comments. Board Member Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank the Water Department staff for continually scoping this project. Right, sounds like we had to do a lot of work with the request for proposals to make this project a reality. It's the second largest project I think we would have ever done. It has a long timeline, complex scope, and a budget that we're going to wrestle with. But luckily, we set aside enough monies due to the fiscal stewardship of Director Burke and her staff. So appreciate that. And I too am intending to support this. I definitely would defer to Member Badenfort because she's in Sweden and she wanted to make the she wanted I would follow her lead. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thanks everyone, and thank you. It is a long time coming, and I'm not sure if I was even here for the very beginning, but I appreciate.
I don't think so. I think I barely was.
I appreciate the documentation being included. It was helpful to see to learn a little bit more about the firm, to see that they have a lot of experience in major, even larger contracts and projects. So I'm a resounding yes. And what do you need from us to support you? Congratulations, everyone. Thanks.
I would say at this point, if you want to make a motion to recommend to the full board that we approve the contract, that would be great.
So moved. My agenda went somewhere. So if you want me to read the entire thing, or I'm happy to
No,
say
that's fine.
I second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second on the recommendation of the full board. So we'll now open it up for public comments on item 3.1. If you wish to make a comment via Zoom, please raise your hand. If you're dialing in via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand. Secretary Atha?
We have no public comments.
All righty, and then may we have a roll call vote, please?
Chair Galvin,
Aye.
Member Badenfort,
Aye.
Board Member Walsh.
Aye.
Good. Motion passes unanimously. By the way, Roberta, you've got a problem with your your audio, just so you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. So that takes care of the only item on our agenda. That concludes our meeting. So we'll adjourn the meeting. Again, Board Member Badenfort, thank you so much for making the effort to appear remotely from so far away. Now go back and enjoy your vacation.
Of course. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. We are adjourned. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you, Engineer Roberts. I appreciate your concise presentation. And I think Engineer Duane has walked us through some of the complex things that you hung in there. Where you guys make us all look great. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Board Member Walsh.